The irony is hard to ignore. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the View panelists spend their time calling Republicans conspiracy theorists, yet everything they've claimed over the past few years has been proven wrong. Now, the View is in absolute meltdown mode, and for good reason. Karoline Leavitt, the unapologetic conservative powerhouse with a razor-sharp tongue, just dropped a legal bombshell so massive that ABC executives are in full-blown crisis mode, scrambling behind the scenes in desperation. And here's where it gets even crazier. She didn't even have to step foot on The View to do it. After yet another out-of-touch, condescending attack from Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin, Karoline didn't just fire back. She unleashed a legal firestorm that is now sending shockwaves through the network. The backlash is so intense that whispers are turning into full-blown rumors. ABC is reportedly begging her to back off before this turns into a total disaster. Sources say executives are losing their minds, scrambling to contain the damage before their credibility goes up in smoke. But let's be real. This is beyond damage control. For years, The View has thrived on pushing boundaries, but this time, they might have finally gone too far. The panic behind the scenes is so bad that insiders are saying the network is bracing for catastrophic consequences if they don't find a way to contain this PR nightmare. Karoline's move wasn't just bold, it was strategic. She's not just defending herself, she's putting The View on trial in the court of public opinion. And ABC knows they're losing. Desperate executives are reportedly trying everything: legal maneuvering, backdoor deals, and urgent crisis meetings, just to keep this from spiraling further. But at this point, it's too late. The damage is done, and The View is teetering on the edge of an irreversible collapse. So what exactly did Karoline say that sent Whoopi Goldberg into a full-blown meltdown? What had Joy Behar visibly shaking? And what left Sunny Hostin absolutely speechless for once in her life? Karoline exposed their lies, called out their hypocrisy, and held them accountable for their blatant misinformation. She wasn't just defending herself, she was tearing down The View's entire narrative. The ladies of The View went completely off the rails, launching a full-scale attack on Karoline simply because she's young, successful, and conservative, a combination that seems to send them into an absolute frenzy. Leading the charge? Joy Behar, dripping with her signature smugness, who took it upon herself to belittle Karoline in the most condescending way possible. She didn't just question her intelligence, she outright dismissed it. She mocked her experience, rolled her eyes at her political knowledge, and acted like Karoline couldn't possibly have earned her success on her own. Then Joy took it even further. In her world, there could only be one explanation for why Karoline had made it this far. Not her hard work, not her dedication, not her ability to outshine her competition. No, according to Joy, Karoline's success had nothing to do with her accomplishments. Instead, she reduced everything Karoline had worked for to a single snide remark. She was only hired because she's a 10 in Trump's eyes. That's right. Joy erased years of effort, boiled down an entire career, and dismissed Karoline's credibility in one shallow, sexist jab. And the irony? She did it while pretending to be a champion for women. But just when you thought it couldn't get more absurd, Whoopi Goldberg jumped in. Never one to let facts or logic get in the way of a fiery rant, she went all in, throwing out dramatic accusations and doubling down on the most ridiculous claims. But Karoline wasn't about to sit back and take it. She fired back, sending The View into total chaos. With her usual self-righteous tone, Whoopi Goldberg took aim at Karoline, claiming she wouldn't even have a job if it weren't for wokeness. Her exact words: "I would like this young lady to do a little homework. She said something yesterday that really pissed me off. She said, 'There will be no wokeness here.' Oh yeah. Let me explain something to you. Without wokeness, you might not even have that job." The hypocrisy was almost too much to take in. The same women who constantly preach about uplifting young professionals, especially young women, had just torn down Karoline's entire career simply because they didn't like her politics. But Whoopi wasn't done, not even close. She ramped it up even further, getting louder, more animated, and even more condescending. That wokeness was put in place for a reason, because black people couldn't get into colleges, because women couldn't get into the schools they wanted. Her hands were flying, her voice was rising, and it was clear she thought she was delivering some groundbreaking history lesson, completely ignoring the fact that Karoline, a highly educated, politically savvy woman, already knew all of this. The hypocrisy was on full display. The very same women who claimed to stand for women's progress had just erased the achievements of a successful young woman simply because she refused to conform to their narrative. And trust me, Karoline wasn't about to let that slide. Meanwhile, The View is spiraling out of control, and ABC knows they're in serious trouble. The network is in crisis mode. Legal teams are scrambling to contain the fallout. PR teams are in meltdown mode. Advertisers are reconsidering their partnerships. And Karoline, she's just getting started. This isn't just another controversy. This isn't just bad press. This could be the moment that finally breaks The View beyond repair. Because this time, they went too far. Whoopi Goldberg wasn't done yet. Instead of backing down, she doubled down, claiming that this wasn't just about race. It was about all women. This isn't just about black women or Asian women. This is about all women. We weren't invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure it became a person's world. The irony was impossible to ignore. The same woman who constantly preaches about women's empowerment was now lecturing Karoline Leavitt, one of the youngest press secretaries in history, on how she supposedly didn't deserve her own career. Commentators wasted no time calling it out. The hypocrisy was blatant, and social media erupted with backlash. One comment stood out above the rest. Whoopi is literally mansplaining the press secretary job to Karoline Leavitt. And in that moment, it became undeniable. This wasn't about lifting women up. This was about tearing down the ones they couldn't control. Whoopi tries to twist the narrative, but Karoline strikes back. As expected, Whoopi just had to make it about race, as if that somehow justified completely dismissing Karoline's career. Because in their world, if you can't argue the facts, you twist the narrative. But Karoline wasn't about to let them get away with it. She didn't just brush it off. She went straight for the kill. She didn't just clap back. She annihilated them. And her response? Absolutely brutal. His opponents are still spewing the same rhetoric that led to 2 attempts on President Trump's life. The second attempt echoed the same tired lie, the idea that Trump is a threat to democracy. If you're a deranged lunatic, if you're mentally unstable, you're going to believe that lie. And yes, you're going to act on it. We've now seen it happen twice against President Trump.